Welcome to the Margin Business Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we got Federico Crespi. Federico Crespi is the head of Foma Media, an e-commerce agency for Amazon FBA sellers and as well for dropshipping. And he himself is a seller on Amazon. Obviously, because he's dealing with dropshipping, he has a lot of knowledge in dropshipping as well. And I'm really happy to have you here today. Thank you, Federico. And yeah, let's start this conversation. You know, I mean, we did it already a little bit, so let's do it a little bit more. Great. What did you got into this business? How did you get into this business? Because this was the primary questions I had for you. Like how a little bit before we had you came into Amazon as an Amazon seller. How did you got into the e-commerce business in general?
Yeah, basically as a first touch with e-commerce and selling physical products online, I started as an Amazon seller. So I was working full time in a company in Italy, and I found completely by chance a YouTube video talking about Amazon FBA and how this kind of process was looking like. And I find it really interesting in terms of like the logic behind it. There is a lot of people on Amazon. You have to rank your product in the first position, and you basically have clients that are already there, already paid in terms of marketing. So that's how I started. Initially was random products from China with no close to nothing as a relationship between different products. So after a while, I realized I needed a stronger kind of brand and a stronger kind of store. And we developed a supplement brand. So there was where I started with the supplement niche. We were producing in Italy, selling in Italy initially. So far it was up to this point only Amazon FBA. From there, we started looking also at like a Shopify website. We built the Shopify website, and then we expanded on the more traditional kind of marketing channels. So Facebook, Google, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so you still actually selling these type of supplements in general, yes?
In this case, with the first brand, no. So I sold my part we were 3 partners back then. So the first store, I'm not involved in it anymore. At the same time, back then, I started doing initially consulting session, initially to other brands and entrepreneurs involved in or supplement niche or Amazon FBA. And from there, we started expanding the line of service from consulting only to actually management of the advertising campaigns and the creative side. So now we manage from realizing the content, the creatives, and so on and so forth, the videos, up to managing the campaigns for this kind of seller. This is the main focus at the moment. Okay,
so from selling, you suddenly realize, okay, wow, there's a demand out there. We can help even customers. The mistakes I done, nobody else has to do. I can help them. Exactly. I can boost their sales at the same time, and I can help and learn at the same time as well constantly for my own business. I mean, it's an amazing idea, and as well the niche that you have chosen, the dropshipping, PPC, consulting in general is definitely something which is much needed, you know. So moving on from this is now the agency that you're running at the moment. And correct. Where, I mean, what I've seen on the LinkedIn profile is that the company is registered in Dubai. And where are you originally from? I mean, everything is it's very international, and I like these type of businesses because it's exactly. You know, it's all over the place, and it motivates others to see that there is not a limit to one country. There is actually a lot to do, and there are so many possibilities, and you don't have to be like in one country. Even though if you're not an English native speaker, you can still sell on the English speaking market because it's so huge. You know, please tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. And it was one of the reason why I also started looking into e-commerce and Amazon FBA at the beginning, because I wanted more kind of freedom. So it was a monetary kind of goal, but also lifestyle goal. When I was working in Italy, I was doing like 8, 9, 10 hours a day in an office, like most of the people do. But after a few years, it started to not be my ideal kind of lifestyle. So that's one of the reasons. And yeah, the company is like in terms of main base is Dubai. Then we have a company connected to the first one in the UK and the US to facilitate the invoicing and this aspect with the US client and so on and so forth.
Sure.
And yeah, in terms of the team, we are completely distributed. Myself, I am from Italy. I moved to Dubai after a few years of doing e-commerce. Taxation, of course, there is amazing, and it's an amazing country to structure the business. From there, we have a part of the team here in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, where I am at the moment. Part in Italy, part in Dubai, where I started doing this kind of consulting session. So it's really nice. I traveled a lot in the last few years. I traveled in something like close to 40 countries. So it's also something I love to do, and it's possible.
That's amazing, you know, because, you know, it shows really that everything is possible, and that everyone can do it. And I mean, as long as you put the work in, you know, you have to start somewhere in order to go somewhere. So you started. When did you start? When did you start with the e-commerce? Because
like looking around, close to probably 10 years ago. On a more serious,
the golden times,
level, serious level, probably 5-6 years in a more like full intentional attention to this kind of projects.
Wow, that's
the time. It takes a lot of time. We help also preventing the mistakes we did, because we did a lot of mistakes at the beginning. Sure. We waste a lot of money, as you know. Sometimes it doesn't go always straight, but yeah, that's part of the game as well.
I can imagine. You know, that's definitely something. So, and how? I mean, we have been talking about drop shipping before, you know, because I wanted to touch a little bit more on this subject as well, because there is still this. I think kind of rumors out there that you still can do some drop shipping. I would say, yes, you can still do some drop shipping, but the drop shipping as it was before, you know, the drop shipping where you don't invest and you just have a listing up and you send it to the customer and it works, and there is 1,000 pieces just go and you don't do anything, and they just run through your listing, and you order from China and then through the country. Now it's not possible anymore because we have all these VAT structures. How is it still possible to do some drop shipping? I mean, you don't have to go into super detail, but just like if somebody is still interested in that, just explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the situation changed a little bit in the last few years. So I am a big fan and supporter of YouTube, meaning that I had my trainings, my knowledge, and everything I know about e-commerce pretty much coming from YouTube, and a lot of hours spent looking for the right information. The problem is that sometimes a lot of the videos that are ranked for a specific keyword, and dropshipping is one of them, are videos that were published 2, 3, 4 years ago. And so the problem is the situation changed. You mentioned the regulation, the VAT. The situation changed also on the competition and the cost per click, cost per acquisition on the platform. So like we do drop shipping, we follow accounts and companies that are involved pretty much entirely in drop shipping. It's still possible. Of course, you have to adjust a bit the strategy and the approach. So if a few years ago it was enough to build a landing page, taking a product from a Chinese website, it can be Alibaba, AliExpress, or so on and so forth, and sell it successfully, now it's very, very hard to just post a couple of pictures and images on Facebook as Facebook ads and pretend that you close a lot of sales with that. It's in some cases still possible. Of course, it's never good to generalize. Yes, but much harder than before. So we normally see it as a great way of testing new products before going to the full inventory purchase and the decision to continue with that niche product.
I think this is as well a very good idea, you know, to just test it through that, because I mean, obviously you pay a little bit more, but you can test the product, or you just cancel the product or whatever, you never send it. But anyway, it's a great advice. And I think dropshipping is still here, but it's a bit different, and there is still e-commerce is growing, and there is new ways to explore, and there is new ways to think. And this is where I go to my next question for you as well. How do you think your company will develop, or what within the next years you see will change, or what do you want to change in your company? Is there any thoughts that you had on that?
Yeah, we recently started pretty much 1 year ago to focusing a lot on content. So before we started managing the advertising side only. So it was managing the campaign only. We realized with time that, or because the company didn't have the right structure to produce the content and position the brand in the right way, or because of other factors, the campaign are affected because of that. So in the last year, we started developing a lot of processes to implement content creation also in the clients on the client side, because it's as I see it as a one way to overcome the super crowded space. So everybody's able to build a Facebook ads and promote an image. A lot less companies are able to actually build a coherent branding and messages in terms of video, the way you display the product, and so on and so forth, on an overall view. So on the advertising side, on the website, in terms of offer, and so on and so forth. So besides keeping updating the knowledge on the campaign, I think for brands to come, like developing the way you present the brand in a more appealing, more interesting way, it's going to be crucial in the next few years.
I think so. I think you touched on a very good point here, because the videos, the visual, anything that can bring the customer nearer to the product is super important, because before or in the last years, it was not taking care of it like 100%. I think it was the customer. Now there is a lot more sellers. And the customer, obviously there is as well more customers, but the sellers grew a lot more, and the customers are so they a little bit like they can pick any product they want, you know. I mean, there is like 10 products of the same, let's say, you know, and why should they take your product? So you need to really bring something. Either you already bring it to them before, so you create the need for them, or your listing sticks out. And this is where we come as well into our business, what we do, the listing optimization, because we optimize the listings in order that the customer actually say, okay, I want that listing, because this is simply now what everyone needs to do, and to understand that customers don't go anymore just like because they like the product. It's the whole image around it, you know, as you has already shown or explained to us, that it's really going deep into that for the next years is really the main point, I would say. So thank you for that as well. You know, it's amazing.
Exactly. I think you mentioned also, like I was speaking about also the advertising side on the video ads itself, but on Amazon is extremely, even probably more relevant, this kind of topic, because on Amazon you have a much lower amount of space for the content for displaying your product. So everything is standardized. You have the same kind of title length, the same number of images, and so on and so forth. So developing extremely high quality branding and extremely high quality content from that perspective, I think is definitely something that every brand should set and look into, because again, it's super easy to import and import images already done from a supplier or with a stock kind of copy paste. Having a brand that definitely change the conversion rate, definitely improve also the position as a consequence of the products.
Yeah, I like this. I like this approach very much. Yeah. So I have a few questions as well for you concerning your company, concerning what you're doing. If I can ask you straight, what is your superpower?
Yeah, superpower, I think we are very strong in the analytics side and on the content creative process. So the majority of the time when we onboard a client, we first, of course, we don't stop. We don't like to stop the operation. We don't like to stop what's going on in the marketing. So we continue managing and optimize what is there already. At the same time, we start the creative process. So in terms of having the right ads to use, the right creatives to use. And from there, normally it's crazy to think about, because most of the brand already invested a lot, in a lot in driving traffic, driving people to the website, but just changing the creative, just changing the way you present the product. Sometimes you make completely different numbers, completely different conversion rate, and so on and so forth. So I would say this is the first superpower, if you can call it like that. Second is attribution, and it's crazy to see how many companies don't leverage data the correct way. So, or they don't track sales the right way, or they don't attribute the sales in a proper way to the right channel, to the right creatives, and so on. Understandable, because after the iOS update, familiar with this, like the tracking and conversion completely change for the worst. But yeah, sometimes tweaking these kind of aspects completely change the conversion rate and the returns of the store.
I think this is as well very good superpower, very well explained, because every agency has his superpowers, and you explained exactly how you present yourself. It comes directly out, and I think it's just perfectly described. What does motivate you when to get up in the morning? I mean, we all got a motivation. What is yours?
Well, I like marketing in general, and this is also one of the reasons why I now focus more on helping other brands after developing mine. If you are a business owner of an e-commerce business, you have to deal with a lot of different aspects related to the e-commerce store. So you have the fulfillment, you have the sourcing of the products, you have the CRM, and a lot of aspect that to me it was not super interesting to manage. For some people, it can be different. For me, like I like to build a situation and system where people come there, they find the solution for what they like, and they actually end up purchasing. So what I like is to think about the messages, think about the offer for the clients, think about how they can bundle up the product, offer the product differently, and so on and so forth, to increase the sales, the conversion rate. So that's what I mostly focus on the day-to-day work for the agency. And yeah, that's pretty much what I like to do.
Okay, great. I mean, the motivational part is, I think it's the why. Why you're doing it. If you don't have your why, why?
Yeah.
It's exactly. the only thing, So yeah, it's great as well. Do you have any message for our audience? Like there's, I mean, some positive message just in general out of your head for the audience of ours.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you're already, both if you're already selling on Amazon, selling online, or if you're just starting out, the advice I personally applied for myself, and it took me a while to understand and figure out, is to give attention to what you're building as a company. So pay attention to the branding, to how you present your product, to how you structure your offer, because in the long run is the only thing that is going to stick around. So I tested many times, many stores built out of nowhere, so without an idea, without a brand behind, without a concept for the long term. So, and after 6 months, 12 months, in the best cases, couple of years, everything crashed, because you don't have something you're building and you're paying attention to for the next few years to come. So definitely branding, pay attention to these kind of aspects, reflect the branding on the advertising, because it's also across our client network what is giving the best results so far. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There is a lot of information around, a lot of information on YouTube, this kind of YouTube channel. So there is a lot to learn, but definitely this is one of the most valuable things I normally share with people.
Okay, that's I think it's great, because it is valuable, and it is as well very important. It's just to move on. We have to learn. We have to stay up to date, and understand as well that we're that more and more agencies and more sellers come into the space. So there is competition, and competition is good, because competition means that there is something going on. We got something here. So let's just continue and do this. And I don't really call them all competition. I call them peers. We're all together in this game. There's enough money to make, and we can all make it together. I have one last question for you. It's rather a funny one, So would you rather spend 1 year at the North Pole or 2 years in the Sahara Desert?
I would say that's a good one. I would definitely spend 2 years in the Sahara Desert because first of all, I don't like cold. Reason number one, I left Italy because everything like 9 months out of 12 is super cold. Exactly. And I already have a good set of skill by living in Dubai for quite a while. So I think it's definitely much more manageable, the heat.
I think so as well. I think as well. Actually, I love the heat when it's I love the time being in Dubai from June to August. I love it. It's the hottest period.
Like
you know why?
I can eat, the hottest month.
I can eat all day long, and then what I do, I go outside in the morning at 7 o'clock. I run like 20 minutes, and I'm done for the day. I can go eat again. So no problem. It's like it's easy, it's really easy.
Yeah, definitely. Compared to Italy, where you wake up at 8 a.m. and it's -5 and the trains like.
Oh yeah, no, you don't even get warm. I cannot even get warm. They're going to take it 1 hour to get warm. No. It's really good like that. So I love it. Yeah, thank you so much, Federico. It was amazing. Thank you for all this valuable information. And I think we should do a second part of this, maybe even live when we meet up in Dubai. We can do like a podcast session. I really would enjoy it.
Absolutely. In the best and hottest months of the summer we can have.
Exactly. Thank you, Federico. Speak to you later.
Thank you.